In a quiet house, an old man sat alone by the window, feeling the deep silence of his life. He had lost his voice years ago and lived in a world where words were no longer spoken. One rainy morning, he found a small shivering kitten curled up in a soggy cardboard box on porch. The kitten was tiny and weak, but its bright green eyes looked up with a very strong spark. He brought the kitten inside and dried its fur with a soft towel while the heater hummed loudly. He named the kitten Echo because it filled the silence of the house with a brand new energy. Echo did not need to hear his voice to know that the old man was a kind soul. The kitten would sit on his shoulder and purr softly against his cheek during the long cold nights. They spent their days in the garden where the old man taught Echo about the many colorful flowers. He would point at a red rose and Echo would sniff it as if she understood his silence. One day a neighbor's child came over and asked why the old man never spoke any single word. The old man just smiled and pointed at Echo, who was busy chasing a bright yellow garden butterfly. The child realized that the man and the kitten had a special language that used only pure love. Echo knew when the old man was sad and would bring her favorite toy mouse to cheer him. Love does not require a voice when two hearts are perfectly in sync with each other's deep feelings. The old man started to feel less lonely because he had a friend who truly listened to silence. They watched the sunset every evening from the wooden porch, feeling the peace of a life well lived. Echo learned to respond to the man's hand signals and would come running for her delicious tuna treats. It was a beautiful dance of two souls who found peace in a world that is often too. People in the neighborhood started to notice the bond and were inspired by their silent and powerful. A local journalist came to write a story about the man who spoke through his tiny brave. The headline read "The Language of the Heart," and it touched thousands of people across the whole city. They started a small club for people to meet and enjoy the beauty of silence with their pets. Echo became the mascot of the group and wore a small blue ribbon with much pride, and every meow from Echo felt like 1,000 words of gratitude to the man who saved her. They proved that you do not need to speak to tell someone how much you truly love them. When winter came, they sat by the fireplace sharing a warm blanket and a very deep quiet. The old man felt his heart grow bigger every day because of the small kitten's unconditional pure. Echo would play with the silver ornaments on the Christmas tree, making the old man laugh very. Even without a sound, the house was now full of the music of joy and true friendship. They visited a school for children who could not hear, and Echo brought so much happy light. The kids laughed as Echo chased a laser pointer across the classroom floor with great lightning speed. It was a lesson for everyone that connection is built on presence and not just on loud. The old man felt proud of his little friend who was changing the world one purr at. Time passed and they both grew older, but their bond only became stronger with every passing day. Echo would wait by the door every time the man went out for his short morning walks. The reunion was always the best part of the day, with lots of cuddles and soft head. They found beauty in the simple things like the smell of rain and the warmth of the silence. Was no longer an empty space, but a rich garden where their friendship continued to bloom. The old man wrote a book using pictures to tell the story of his life with Echo. It was called Words Are Not Enough, and it became a favorite for children and adults alike. They traveled to different towns to share their message of love and the power of simple kindness. People would often cry when they saw the way Echo looked at the old man with devotion. It was a reminder to cherish the ones we love and to listen with our hearts always. The world became a little bit kinder because of a man and a kitten who never spoke. They spent one afternoon at the beach watching the blue waves and feeling the salty ocean breeze. Echo was brave and touched the water with her tiny paw before running back to the man. They were a team that could face any challenge because they had each other's trust, and on his birthday the man gave Echo a special new bed made of the softest velvet. She loved it but still preferred to sleep on the old man's feet every single cold night. Their story was a miracle that happened in a quiet house on a very ordinary rainy morning. It shows us that miracles are often small and have 4 paws and a very loud purr. Never underestimate the power of a small act of kindness to change a life forever. And the old man found his voice through the love of his kitten, and it was very beautiful. They sat together in the golden hour of the sunset, feeling perfectly content and at total peace. Life is a journey best shared with a friend who understands your soul without any spoken words. Echo closed her eyes and fell asleep, knowing she was exactly where she was meant to be. The man stroked her head and felt a deep sense of gratitude for his little furry angel. Their love remains a legacy of hope for anyone who feels alone in a very loud world. Thank you for watching this story, and may you find a love that needs no words today.